Good afternoon. I'd like to thank you for coming to the dedication of our men's and women's locker rooms. We're not in the locker rooms. This is the gym. But after we have the opportunity to recognize and to honor those who have made this possible, as well as to dedicate the locker rooms that I believe that they will be open for you. We'll be able to go in and tour them and to see the shape. I think there's a couple of them, they're still a little bit chipping away at them, but they're in good progress. I'd like to recognize Bill and Karen Bachwitz. I want to thank them for their vision. I want to thank them for their commitment both to Spring Arbor University and to the basketball program. I'd also like to recognize and thank Faith Small for her vision and her support of Spring Arbor University and Spring Arbor University athletics through many years of service on our Board of Trustees, and her commitment to ensuring that Spring Arbor University athletics would always have strong facilities to ensure that we could go and compete well and build good, strong teams. And then I also like to recognize the men's basketball locker room is named in memorial of Trent Allen, a wonderful alumni of Spring Arbor University, passed away a number of years ago. Was very generous to the basketball program, to Spring Arbor. Yolanda is here, his widow, and then also his daughter Jewel is enrolled here and a tennis player here at Spring Arbor. So thank you for being here today. And when you think about what this project provides for Spring Arbor University, really what it does is it communicates to our current players as well as our prospective students the importance and the value that we place upon them as representatives of Spring Arbor. You know, when a student athlete takes the court, they put themselves in a place that is unique to the rest of the student body. They enter the court and enter the scope of competition as a representative and as an extension of the concept and the mission of the university. And so these locker rooms are a demonstration of the commitment that alumni, that donors, and that the institution has on ensuring that we can put forward teams that are top-notch teams, that are world-class teams, individuals, men and women, who are going to go forward and are going to represent the best of what Spring Arbor University is in that field of competition. To do it in a manner and a way of excellence, to do it in a manner and a way and compete in a manner and a way that honors Christ and demonstrates a Christian commitment, and to do it in an honor and do it in a manner that gives credence to this great university. And so again, to Faith Small, to the Allen family, to Bill and Karen Bachwitz, thank you very much for allowing us to make this level of demonstration and provide the types of locker room facilities that our athletes deserve. At this point in time, I'd like to welcome up our athletic director and men's basketball coach, Ryan Cottingham. Thank him for his leadership and his commitment to this institution as well. Ryan?
When we complete the ceremony, I just want to make sure you're aware, if you didn't come in at the east entrance, there are some refreshments down there, some snacks and different things. So please help yourself and then make your way through the locker rooms if you would do so. And we'll have students in the We Are SAU shirts can help direct you if you have any questions. They'll certainly be able to help you. President Ellis and Doug Wilcoxon, I can't thank you two enough for the leadership that you provide our athletic department. And I just think you two are extremely special. You're gifted. and it's an honor and a joy to work for you and with you. And so I just want to personally say thank you. I think you guys are incredible, and you make it fun. It's challenging, it's hard, and we're being stretched. But to do it alongside the two of you and your team, I just value that tremendously. And we can give thanks, Troy. During your leadership, President Ellis, we've continued to expand and grow. From our facilities, many of you made it over to the tennis court dedication a short time ago, and that was absolutely amazing. We actually have 5 dedications today. 2 are athletic, and they're just a phenomenal venue. And I just look at, so I think our facilities are continuing to be upgraded. Our scholarshiping system has made major upgrades. Our coaches right now are in a place that we haven't been before. The morale of our department in athletics is really good right now, Dan Boss, and I want you to know that. We have phenomenal coaches and staff. Chris Bauman, our sports information director, Lori Cornell, our administrative assistant. They just do remarkable things for us, and to feel blessed to be a part of something so much bigger than me. It's not uncommon, and I'm almost done with you, President and Doug, but to see you guys at games, at matches, at Midnight Madness, they don't support from afar. It's up close. Now, there are times, I know in basketball games, we've got to control my wife, but I know Christy Ellis gets pretty fired up. I was sitting next to you at a volleyball match the other night, and you were pretty fired up, and so I love that spirit that you ladies bring, and we know behind every coach or good man is an incredible woman, which is the case with you, Karen, and we'll get to you in just a minute. We now have 338 student athletes on this campus. 12 years ago, we were at 146. We have 35 coaches, 14 of which are full-time at the university in some capacity, whether they're teaching, they're at a site, they're here doing other things. Bobby Pratt, or their primary focus is coaching, and they're assisting in some other capacity. And so I'm amazed. I hear often, Doug and Lisa Wilcoxon took out one of our coaches and their spouses for dinner. They're constantly pouring into the lives of our staff, and I'm so grateful for that. I want to thank Toby Jones and Jones Solutions. I don't know if Toby made it in here today, but he was our general contractor and responsible for the project, and he did an incredible job, and I'm grateful to Toby Jones. I want to also mention Matt Potter, an alum of ours, and he's our painter. He's actually painting all over campus, and he's in at 2 a.m. or 3:30, and he's always available. I also want to thank Matt Potter because in 1999, when I was hired as the men's basketball coach, he reached out to me and he said, hey, there's this guy that played basketball and you need to meet him. He said his name is Trent Allen, and he handed me his phone number. And so I called Trent Allen, and we set up a breakfast appointment at, of course, the Wooden Spoon. Any true Spring Arborite, anyone who has ever been connected with the university knows the Wooden Spoon. And you've been to that place. A lot of people have their own mugs there. I don't think they ever even get washed, and they just get coffee poured in. It's just like, I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't worry about it. But met with Trent there, and that's still a hot spot. I was in there a couple weeks ago, and in came Kay and Daryl Dunkel came into the Wooden Spoon. I was with Larry Starr, and they were with one of their former athletes who now lives in Alaska. She came all the way back to visit family to make a special trip to see Kay and Daryl. And where did they take her? They took her to the Wooden Spoon. And only if you have history with Spring Arbor do you truly get what it means to be a part of the Spoon. Trent and I had a special relationship that grew. His energy was so contagious, and he loved this place. He loved the basketball program. He loved Coach Bakowitz. and he loved you, Karen, too, as you guys know so much. And he wanted the best. He wanted Spring Arbor shooting for the stars. And he had all these ideas, and he was nonstop and high energy, and would call out of the blue. And of course, we know I wasn't the only Hotel Charlie. There were a lot of Hotel Charlies, and he would call us all sorts of things. But he pushed us, and he pushed me to think bigger, and not just to settle. And I'm just grateful for that. And I too want to acknowledge Yolanda and Jewel and Jace and the rest of the family. What an incredible family you have. And to continue to have the relationship that we do, Yolanda, and to be able to call you, and for you even changing your schedule to make this happen for us today. I just can't say enough about your family, about who you are, an alum, and what you represent. And Jace, we would like you to commit today before you leave to come into Spring Arbor. I know you're still mulling your options. If we add bass fishing, I think it's about a 90% chance that you're gonna come here. So thank you, Yolanda. You're just you're special. A week ago, I called Larry D. Larry DeSempler is an alum. He was here the other night in an ugly, ugly purple zip-up because his daughter is playing volleyball at Taylor. But it was good to have Larry D back in the gym. But prior to that, I reached out and called him, as we stay in contact. He's the associate head basketball coach at Cleveland State. Same night, I call Dean Lockwood, who's the assistant coach down at Tennessee for the Lady Vols right now. And they're just amazing, extraordinary people. And then my third call, I wanted to end with Coach Bakowitz. And so I called Coach Bakowitz, and he didn't answer, but the voice message simply said this: "Hey, this is Coach. Leave a message." And Larry and Dean had the privilege of playing for Coach Bakowitz here. And I came after Bach had moved on to golf. And although he never coached me on the hardwood court, he's been coaching me for the last 19 years. I've only called him Coach because he is my coach. Sometimes it's just like Coach Bach. I didn't used to be such a sissy, Peter. I used to be tougher than this. But that's okay. Karen, I could go on all day about you. I could just talk about you forever. The energy, the joy that you bring, you illuminate it, whether you're walking on the track with your friends Burbridge and Comden, or in the pool I see in the hallway. Something extremely special about you, about the both of you. You've impacted me, my wife, our program, and the university. You guys are continuing to coach for the kingdom, and I'm truly grateful for that. I'm grateful for the two of you. I just can't say thank you enough for the incredible investments you've made and are continuing to make in lives across many generations. You're just continuing to do it. The Trent Allen men's basketball locker room is a special place. and it will carry on a legacy that you've played a vital, vital role in. God bless you both so very much. And before Coach Bakowitz comes up, actually, as he's making his way up, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you how special Faith Small is, too. I had the privilege to get to know her. What a spunky, incredible, gifted individual that would come to many basketball games and sit right down there in the front row. And what a privilege it was to get to know Faith. What a heart for the Lord. What a heart for athletics. To hear her stories about running track and beating the boys and all these things. We were able to overlook that she was a Buckeye fan because she had so many other amazing qualities. So, Coach Bakowitz, if you would come on up, please, that would be great.
Well, he almost made me cry as well. Before I begin, and I want to paint the picture of Trent for you who do not know him. I want to first of all say this is not about Karen and I at all. This is totally about the Allen family, and it's totally about the basketball program, okay? One other thing I want to do before I begin, I want my beautiful wife to stand up, and I want you to notice that she has honored, stand up, honored the referees, because I so much love the referees. Look how she's dressed. I'm going to describe Trent in many similar ways as did Coach Cunningham. I call him a man of motion. He was in constant motion. And I think Jace and Jewel could attest to that, because for one thing, he was trying to take them to every Big Ten arena. I remember him talking about it. I'm going to take them to every Big Ten arena there is. Always in motion. There was a time that he called me and he said, "Hey, Coach, I'm going to be down in 1 hour. Be ready." I said, "What are we doing?" He said, "We're going to the Big Ten tournament down in Indianapolis, and Illinois is playing. I got his perfect tickets right down in front." And I said, "Hey, I can't go." 1 hour later, he shows up. He hung up on me, okay? I never really chastised him for that. But he hung up on me. 1 hour later, he shows up. We jump in the car. We go down, and there's also one other young man in that car. His name was Dave Gardella, and I lost both of them within a year's time. And so that was a special day for me to do that and go down. He also would say to me every year, "We're going to Maui tournament, right? You always went to the Maui tournament. You got to go, Coach. I pay for everything." And for whatever reason, I never ever went. And then he finally says, "Okay, you're going this year because Illinois is playing in the tournament. They're there, and we're going, and I'm taking care of all expenses." And for whatever reason, again, I don't remember, I turned it down. And that is one regret I have yet today, because that would have been such a great memory for me. He's also a man that loved SAU, and he loved all parts of it. Yeah, he was a basketball junkie. We know that part of him. He would stay and shoot in here all the time. And I don't know, Coach, does he still hold the record for three-point percentage average or not? Yeah, and I would get after him for once. He was 43-1 or something. And when he got all done, I'd always chastise him. I said, "You know what? Remember the Cornerstone game? We're up at Cornerstone. We're playing. We're 2 down. We take time out. And, of course, we're not going for the tie. We're going for the win." So we set up this little play. And we spring in free. In fact, he was so free. He was right over there in that wing area where he loved to shoot. He was so free. Probably nobody within 5 feet either way of him. He missed it. And I always would say to him, "Hey, you could have had 44% rather than 43%. Another illustration of the whole SAU arena that he loved, he raced in my office one day up there. "Coach, come with me." I said, "Well, we're going. We're going over to the church." I said, "Why are we going over to the church?" He said, "I want you to pray with me. I'm going to give my life to Christ." So up we go. Went over there. There was just the two of us in the church. We kneeled down. He prayed to receive the Lord. I prayed with him. So, he's a man of everything. He's a man of motion. He's a man of Spring Arbor. So he's also such a man of generosity. If you knew him, there wasn't anyone that he would not, and he would seek him out. It wasn't that somebody would say to him, hey, I have a need here. He would go seek out people, whether it be in Williamston or Spring Arbor or wherever, Lansing, and just be so generous with them. I don't like to say about the basketball court here, but I'm going to have to tell you the story of this, because I told him time and time again, and he would say to me, Coach, I want to put your name in the court. And I'd say, no way. I don't want my name in the court. I don't believe in that. I just no. So one summer, he called me up. He said, Coach, have you gone up and seen the court? I said, no. He said, well, they've done a nice job in the court, as they all do every summer. It's a beautiful court. He said, you got to go. Well, I'm playing golf, so I'm paying attention to it. And he keeps calling me. And about the third time he calls me, Coach, you got to go see it. It's really beautiful. So please him, I said, okay, I'm going up. Well, I walk in, and of course, that's the first time I saw it there. And of course, I told him, thank you, but it wasn't something I wanted. And it's just not me, and that's why I say it's not us, okay? It's all about the Allens, and the basketball team is why I talk here today. He's also a man who loved, and he loved Yolanda deeply. He loved Jace, and Jace is going to be probably falling into a business just like his dad did and be very successful. And he loved Jewel, and I call both Yolanda and Jewel sweethearts because they are, and Jaden as well. He just loved his family so much. But he also, I knew, as Coach said, he loved me and I loved him. Another part of this court in the locker rooms, okay, because there was a woman who just recently died, and she was a woman who had contributed to athletics at Spring Arbor for years. She was really tied into Hank Burbridge very much. And so she had given and given and given. And she was always one that never wanted her name identified. Well, I finally called her out one night. It was right down here when they were doing the dedication of this court. And so I called, and she was sitting right over there. And I just called her out. I said, Faith Small, I want to thank you for everything you've ever done at this university. Not just for, and she had contributed to the floor as well, but the many, many things I knew of that she obviously never said anything about. So Faith Small is as much a part of Spring Arbor and generosity as was Trent Allen. And we are obviously so pleased and proud that that locker room will be named the Trent Allen Locker Room. That's what it will be known as, Trent Allen Locker Room. And Coach, if I could take 2 more minutes, since you gave me 3 and took 15, okay? I want to make one address your team. And I know Trent would say the same thing if he was here. There's a man by the name of T.S. Eliot, gentlemen, who made a statement, a quote, that we had the experience, but we missed the meaning. We had an experience, but we missed the meaning. And when I read that, I thought, how sad. So I took a little liberty with T.S.'s quote, and for me, I made it, we are having an experience, do not miss the meaning. Talking with Isaac the other day about the 4 years, and we were talking about how quickly those 4 years fly by, and I told him, you're right. I think they're the fastest 4 years in your life, without a doubt. But also, the meaning that's behind it. Now, I don't just mean on the basketball court, but I mean in the chapel and in the classroom and in the total sphere. You are having an experience, and I hope you don't miss the meeting, because I'll tell you right now, years from now, when you're 30, 40, 50, and even my age, several of you will be gathering together every year to play some golf or do your fishing or whatever it is your thing. You'll get together because of the great friendships that you have formed on campus as well as within your team. So remember that meaning, would you? You're having an experience. Please do not miss that meaning. Thank you very much.
I just want to acknowledge a couple of Trent's teammates that are here, and one is you talk about legacy and following that. Troy Love and Brian Snyder right over here. Would you two gentlemen stand so we can recognize you and thank you too? And as Betsy Martinez, one of our assistant athletic directors and volleyball coach, is getting ready to come up and share a few comments with you. I think we would be remiss if we didn't pay tribute to you, Kay Dunkel. Women's athletics right now at Spring Arbor is excelling like never before, and because of the foundation that you laid. As you know, we have the #1 ranked women's soccer team in the nation that won the national championship, and Jason's guaranteed at least 2 more to go with that. I don't think he's in here right now, so I'll put him on the hot seat. We've got so many good things happening and great coaches. And I look at our women's basketball team and the job that Coach Frost has done as they've turned the corner and excited about a big year. And that vision and that push started with you a long, long time ago. And I just value our relationship greatly, and you serve on the Hall of Fame committee, and you're not afraid to come in and tell us what you think or tell me what you think, and I value that. Kay, could you just stand up so we can recognize you? Thank you so much, Kay. Betsy.
I'd like to just start by thanking a couple people, all of our alumni that are in attendance. Thank you so much for being here, and it's wonderful to see the pride that you still have in SAU athletics, and we are so happy to have you here celebrating with us these dedications and then also competing with our athletes and investing in our current athletes' lives. So thank you so much for being here. A huge thank you to our donors. We are so grateful for the investment that you have in our athletes' lives right now, and just your dedication to who they are and continuing to see SAU athletics to continue to take the steps that we know we can take in our pursuit of excellence. So thank you so much for your heart for our athletes and for our community, and just being a huge part of who we are. And lastly, all our current athletes, thank you so much to you guys as well for your dedication to SAU athletics and continuing on a rich tradition of that pursuit of excellence here at SAU, not just on the court or on the field, but also in your character and your pursuit of excellence in the classroom and becoming leaders in your community. So thank you so much for your dedication and for being here. Back in the spring, we were able, a few of us, to have lunch with Faith Small. And I didn't know her well, but was very grateful for that opportunity. And it was actually a lunch to thank her for all of her investment into SAU athletics and SAU in general. And of course, in her generosity, she turned it around to say, what do you guys need still? What's at the top of your wish list? And she specifically asked that to Coach Frost and I. And we both agreed that at the top of our list would be an individual locker room space for each of our sports. For many years, volleyball and basketball have shared a locker room. And although it created some really great fellowship between those teams, we had a vision that it would be wonderful to utilize 2 spaces for our programs, and that would just be the biggest benefit. And obviously, because of Faith and her generosity and her care for seeing SAU grow, we now have that space, and it really is a dream come true. It's strange to think back to just last spring where we were sharing a locker room, and now we have top-of-the-line, wonderful locker room spaces that we can use for film sessions, that we can use for team meetings, that we can use for team devotions, and just the huge asset that it's going to be for our recruiting process only. We're so excited to now bring recruits in there and show them this wonderful space that they'll get to call their own for their own sports. Again, we're just so thankful for Faith Small and her heart for SAU athletics and seeing us grow. With volleyball already being halfway through our season, we've been able to utilize that space, and we encourage you to take a look at those locker rooms on your way out after this dedication, just to see how wonderful it is, and what our athletes are now able to call their own. again, we're just so grateful, and we look forward to the impact that these locker rooms will have not only on our current athletes, but our athletes that will be here in the future. We always talk about how we desire SAU athletics to be a transformational experience for our athletes, and we believe that this dedication and these locker rooms are going to be a vital piece of that as we continue to help our athletes feel important and pursue excellence in all areas of their lives. So again, thank you so much for being here. Please do take a look on your way out, and at this time I'd like to welcome up senior basketball player Kylie Townsley.
Hi, for those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Kylie Townsley, and I've had the privilege of playing at Spring Arbor for the past 3 years. As my team and I would travel to away games, we would load up our Cougar bus behind the field house. Every time I would notice a white sign indicating a parking spot reserved for Faith Small. Spring Arbor has 5 parking lots for the 1,700 students that attend the main campus. So it's safe to say that every parking spot is very valuable. Sometimes I would even debate leaving campus if I had a really good parking spot. But that spot was special. That sign marked a spot that was kept for a woman after God's own heart. That sign was for Faith Small. On behalf of the Spring Arbor Athletic Department, we would like to say thank you for Faith for her generosity and her giving heart. We will always remember the life that Faith lived, a life full of community and generosity. We are all thankful for every donation that was given, but a special appreciation is given to Faith. For my team, the locker room will be more than a room to keep our basketball shoes. It will be more than a place to meet at during halftime of games. Instead, that place will be where memories are shared and community among one another flourishes. A place where teammates can laugh with one another, but also lean on one another. Our coaches challenge us to make our locker room into our war room. This is where we can have team devotionals and time alone with God to pray for one another, our athletic department, and this university. Our team verse is 2 Timothy 1:7, which reads, "For God did not give us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline." We have this verse on one of the walls of our locker room. It is there to remind us that we're not here just to play basketball, but we're here to be student athletes striving for depth of faith, strength of character, and skills of leadership, essential for the lifetime of service to Jesus Christ. This locker room will be a piece utilized towards that mission. I would now like to welcome Dan Boss, a member of the Board of Trustees, for the prayer of dedication.
This whole presentation has been about legacy, and I think back when I came to school here about 40 years ago, we had the big 3. It was Bachwitz, Burbridge, and Comden. And anytime you had an opportunity to meet with these gentlemen, they just had an impact on your life, and they impacted you for Christ. And that's what we're dedicating here today, a locker room that's going to be used for the purpose of winning souls to Christ. We think of the legacy that Coach Cottingham has had. I know my son played for him back 10 years ago, and it was a tremendous experience, and went out to the leadership situation out in Wyoming. And if you have an opportunity, go to that, because you can impact souls for Christ, and that's what we want to do. So we want to dedicate these locker rooms, and especially to Faith Small. I noticed that it was mentioned about Faith's parking spot. Well, we have a handicap sticker in our family, and the very first day I came over here, I happened to park where that blue sign is. I didn't read that it said reserved for Faith Small. Big mistake, you don't do that thing. Faith only weighed 55 pounds and was 93 years old, but she was feisty and a tremendous board member, and we will truly miss her on the board. But we do want to dedicate these locker rooms, so shall we pray? Heavenly Father, we do thank you so much for the faithfulness of people who have dedicated their lives to impacting the world for Christ. We think of Trent, we think of Faith, we think of Coach Bachwitz, we think of Coach Cottingham, we think of Dr. Ellis, these people whose purpose is to win others to you, Lord. And so we dedicate these locker rooms. and the legacy that they will help create. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you all for coming and being a part of this dedication. Dan, for your words and your prayer of dedication. We do have a reception for those of you who want some drinks or some food over here towards my right. The locker rooms will be accessible, and I think some of our student athletes will be able to provide tours. And then as soon as possible, then there will be an alumni volleyball game on this court in just a few minutes. So if you'd like to stick around for that, I can watch some volleyball. Thank you for being here.